All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle a pretty challenging idea from the philosopher Acharya Prashant. It's this notion that a lot of us might be, well, sleepwalking through our own lives. He suggests that we're basically on autopilot, just following a script that we never even wrote for ourselves. It's a heavy thought, for sure, so let's really get into it and see what he means. So, right off the bat, this quote from Acharya Prashant just sets the entire tone. The core idea here is that our lives can become so mechanical, so predictable, that we're not really in the driver's seat anymore. And the really crazy part, we think we are. We have this illusion that we're making all these free choices, but from his perspective, we might just be running on some old pre-written code. And that brings us to the very heart of this explainer, this idea of the programmed life. We're going to dig into this concept of an invisible script, a story that's quietly dictating our actions, our goals, even what we want out of life. And a lot of the time, we don't even know it's happening. So where do you even begin with something this big? Well, Acharya Prashant says the first step is something he calls honest seeing. And it starts with asking yourself this question, really asking it, are my motivations actually mine? I mean, think about the job you want, the life you're building, your whole idea of success. Did that desire grow from inside you? Or did you kind of just borrow it from your family, from society, from what you see online? Now, let's track this back to where it all starts, because according to Acharya Prashant's work, this isn't something that just kicks in when we become adults. Nope. He says the script gets written way, way back in childhood. The seeds are planted in our most formative years, shaping how we see the world before we even have the tools to question it. And this timeline, wow, it just lays out the pattern perfectly, doesn't it? When you're in 6th grade, maybe you're working hard for a new video game or to make your parents proud. Fast forward to 10th grade, and suddenly it's all about getting ready for job interviews. By the time you're in 12th, you're told your entire future is on the line. You see how the pressure just keeps ramping up? But the basic mechanism, chasing some external reward down the road, that never, ever changes. And here it is. This is the engine that keeps the whole script running. Acharya Prashant's argument is that from day one, we're basically trained to operate on this system of outside approval. It's not about what you're genuinely curious about or what your heart is telling you. It's all about reacting to these external forces, motivation, pressure, rewards. It's the classic carrot and stick routine, just applied to our entire lives. Okay, so what happens when we finally leave school and enter the real world? Does all this programming just disappear? According to Acharya Prashant, not a chance. The script keeps running just as hard as ever. The only thing that changes is the stage gets a little bigger and the costumes get a lot more expensive. This slide just makes it so incredibly clear. Remember that chase for numbers when you were a kid? Your grades, your rank in the class. Well, it never stopped. It just evolved. In the adult world, the numbers get new names. Your salary, how many LinkedIn connections you have, your job title. As Prashant would say, it's the exact same game, just with much higher stakes. And this obsession with numbers, it funnels us down this incredibly predictable, almost predetermined path. Acharya Prashant sees this as the standard life script society hands us. Chase the numbers, get the house, start the family, save for retirement. It's like a checklist we're all supposed to follow, and so many of us just do it without ever stopping to ask, wait a minute, is this what I actually want? So this is really the main takeaway from this whole section. We change our roles all the time, right? We go from student to employee, from single to married, from employee to boss. We collect all these new labels, but, and this is the big question Acharya Prashant poses, if the underlying program, that old habit of chasing external validation, is still running the show, have we really grown at all? And that brings us to the final and maybe the most powerful part of this whole idea. See, Acharya Prashant doesn't just point out the problem. He leaves us with a series of really sharp, awakening questions. They're designed to kind of jolt us out of our sleepwalk and force us to really look at ourselves. This one is, well, it's a deep one. If the adult professional is basically running the same race as the 6th grade kid just for a bigger prize, then what's fundamentally changed inside? He's really challenging us to see the difference between just getting older and actually authentically growing as a human being. And this next question really gets at our whole idea of progress. We're always so busy, right? We feel like we're moving forward, making moves, but this perspective forces us to ask, are we really moving ahead on our own path? Or are we just running in a very sophisticated circle, just repeating the same old patterns on bigger and bigger stages? And here it is. This is the ultimate distinction he makes. Being alive, that's a biological fact. Your heart is beating, you're breathing. But being awake, that implies you're living with consciousness, with intention, with real awareness. This question is asking if we're living with a purpose that's truly ours, or if we're just going through the motions of a life someone else designed.
And so that's what we're left with. This one big, echoing thought from Acharya Prashant. It's not a question that has a quick or easy answer. It's one you have to kind of carry with you. Is the story of your life really yours? Or are you maybe just acting out a hand-me-down script? It's a powerful thing to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.